Okay, good evening, everyone. In this talk, we'll be talking about heart murmurs and their pathophysiology. We'll begin with the areas of auscultation, the normal heart sounds, and then the abnormal heart sounds, including the clicks, opening snap, and the murmurs. So before going ahead, we'll first talk about the areas of auscultation. The aortic region and the pulmonary region are located in the second intercostal space. The pulmonary region is in the left second intercostal space parasternally, and the aortic region is the right second intercostal space parasternally. The Erb's point is the left lower sternal border at the left third intercostal space. The tricuspid area is the left fourth intercostal space parasternally, and the mitral region is the apical region, that is the left fifth intercostal space in the midclavicular line. So these areas we need to know because they give us an idea of the underlying pathology, because the murmurs that are associated with the respective valves will be more prominently heard in these respective regions. So that is the reason why we need to know these areas of auscultation. And always while auscultating any patient, we should not ignore any of these areas. We should auscultate each and every of the each and every area, that is all the 5 areas of auscultation. So before going ahead, we should know that the S1 is the first heart sound, and that is followed by the second heart sound. If in the patient S3 and S4 sounds are heard, then the S3 follows the second heart sound, the S4 will follow the S3, and then you come back to the S1. So this is the sequence that happens. So coming to the first heart sound, which is also called as S1. So this will be produced by the closure of the atrioventricular valves, that is the mitral and the tricuspid valves. So once these atrioventricular valves close, you know that the heart is ready for systole. Because once the ventricles get filled with blood, the mitral and the tricuspid valves close, they make the first heart sound, and then the ventricles are now going to eject the blood into the respective either aorta or pulmonary artery if it's an LV or RV respectively. So this S1 is a relatively prolonged, it's a low frequency sound. And generally, we do not talk about this. It's not a much discussed talk, that is S1 split, because we cannot hear it. It's not that audible from by the stethoscope. But actually the mitral valve tends to close slightly earlier as compared to the tricuspid valve. So the duration is around 0.04 seconds. The mitral valve tends to close 0.04 seconds earlier than the tricuspid valve, and the reason is the increased pressure inside the left ventricle, which tends to close it earlier as compared to the tricuspid valve. But this S1 split is not much talk about because you cannot really hear it by stethoscope. Some claim that it can be heard in the tricuspid area, but generally it is not. But remember that the mitral valve closes 0.04 seconds earlier than the tricuspid valve, but you always hear S1 as a single heart sound. Whereas the second heart sound, there's something called as S2 split, which is a very important topic, specifically when concerned with congenital heart diseases. So this S2 is produced by the closure of aortic and pulmonary valves. So now S1 took place, that means that the mitral and the tricuspid valves closed, the ventricles ejected the blood into the vascular system, and now the systole is over, and the ventricular pressure falls below the respective either aorta or pulmonary artery, because of which the aortic and the pulmonary valves close. So that marks again the beginning of diastole. So that is how the S1 and the S2 were produced. But this S2 has two components. One is the A2 and one is the P2. So A2 means the closure of the aortic valve, and P2 means the closure of the pulmonary valve. Now, why the split is very important? The thing is that during spontaneous ventilation, spontaneous respiration, during inspiration, because of negative intrathoracic pressure, there is increased venous return from the SVC and from the IVC into the right side of the heart. So that means that the preload to the right side of the heart increases. So because of which the volume that the RV receives is relatively larger as compared to the LV. That's why the pulmonary valve takes some time extra to close as compared to the aortic valve. But the split is normally 0.03 seconds, and the split is predominantly present in inspiration, because during expiration, as the venous return decreases as compared to what it was during inspiration, the P2 and A2 are almost, they happen at the same time, thereby you get a single heart sound during expiration. So this is a physiological split that happens in all of us, but not it may or may not be heard by the stethoscope. But there could be some abnormalities of the split. So either there could be a wide split, which means that the difference normally, which is 0.03 seconds, it could be wider. That means that either the A2 component is happening early, or the P2 component is happening quite late. So that means that there is some problem either with the LV or with the RV. So maybe lot of blood volume into the RV, because of which the pulmonary valve is not getting closed earlier. So we will look at it. So if it is a wide split, it could be either wide and variable split, or it could be a wide and fixed split. Now, what is the difference between the two? If the split is increased, so increased, that means that it is beyond 0.03 seconds, which is normal. If this increased split happens only during inspiration and not during expiration, then it is called as wide and variable split. But if this increased split stays persistent no matter what the phase of respiration is, you call it wide and fixed split. So in wide split, be it variable or be it fixed, the A2 component is happening earlier as compared to the P2, which how it normally happens. The only difference between the two is that the difference in the A2 and the P2 will be increased only in inspiration in cases of wide and variable split, but it will be increased in inspiration and expiration both, regardless of the phase of respiration, in cases of wide and fixed split. So what are the causes of this? So if it's a wide and variable split, the causes would be ventricular septal defect, in which there is increased blood volume that flows from the left ventricle to the right ventricle. Then mitral regurgitation. In mitral regurgitation, what would happen is that the left ventricle is venting the blood from the LV into the aorta and also to the LA, because the mitral valve is not closing during the systole. So that is why it has a free passage. It has two pathways basically. So it can vent its blood into the aorta also and also into the LA. So that is why the LV empties faster when compared to the RV. So that is why the A2 happens earlier as compared to the P2. That is why the split gets widened. And also the pulmonary stenosis, because due to the stenotic pulmonary valve, the RV may take some extra time to empty entirely into the pulmonary artery. That is why the P2 may get delayed. So these are the reasons of wide and variable split. But as far as wide and fixed split is concerned, the defects like atrial septal defect or total anomalous pulmonary venous circulation, in which the entire preload of the RV, which is why the SVC and the IVC, along with that, the blood from the pulmonary veins also reaches the right ventricle, because in ASD, the shunt is from left side to the right side, unless Eisenmingerization happens. Forget Eisenmingerization. But in atrial septal defect, the shunt is in the interatrial septum, and as the left-sided pressures are higher, the shunting of the blood is going to happen from the left side to the right side, which means that the left atrium, which has received the blood from the pulmonary circulation, is entering into the right side also. So the RV becomes overloaded with the volume that it is receiving from the systemic circulation also and the pulmonary circulation also. So no matter what the phase of respiration is, this split becomes wide and it becomes fixed. Also, in cases of right bundle branch block, the right ventricle is going to take, as the electrical conduction in the right side of the heart is delayed, that is why the P2 takes a longer time to happen, or the pulmonary valve takes a longer time to happen. So these are the causes of wide and fixed split. But there could be some conditions in which there would be a paradoxical splitting, or also called as a reverse splitting. So normally what is happening is the A2 is closing, or you can hear the A2 first as compared to the P2. But in these cases, you hear the P2 first and then the A2. A2 follows the P2. So that could happen in cases of LBBB, where the left ventricle is taking so much time, because as an RVBB, the electrical conduction was getting delayed in the RV. Here in LVBB, the electrical conduction will get delayed in the LV, because of which the A2 will take a longer time to happen. In RV pacing, the electrical conduction is happening faster in the right ventricle. That's why the P2 will happen earlier than the A2. Same with severe aortic stenosis or hypertension, in which the SVR is so high, or in severe aortic stenosis where the output from the left ventricle to the aorta is happening so slowly that the A2 may take some time to happen. And in cases of large patent ductus arteriosus, because in this case, in cases of large PDA, the left ventricle is receiving a larger volume of the blood, because PDA means there is a connection in between the aorta and the pulmonary artery. And as the SVR is higher than the pulmonary artery pressures, the blood flows from the aorta to the pulmonary circulation. So obviously the systemic supply is going to go low as compared to the pulmonary circulation, because there would be all the volume of the blood will be concentrated in the pulmonary circulation, and that will be received by the left side of the heart because the pulmonary veins drain into the left side. So because of this increased volume that has to cross the aortic valve into the aorta, the aortic valve takes some time to close. So this all causes paradoxical splitting. So the split S2 is extremely important, specifically when we talk about congenital heart diseases. So it's quite an important topic. Coming to the next heart sound, that is a third heart sound. So we've already talked about that S1,